What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Little Sauce Corlin, who never knows best, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some hints, some news, some information that we have that might give us a little bit of an indication of who those final 6 remaining characters could be on the roster for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. However, before we even get into that, I just want to say that leading up to this game's release, I've been saying before, and I'll continue to say it, a lot of people are going to be unhappy, not because of the 6 remaining characters we're about to talk about today, but just from the sheer nature of there's so many characters in the Marvel universe and in the comics, and there's only so many slots on the roster. It's a relatively small roster, especially considering it's a 4v4 game. So if your favorite character doesn't get in, well, hopefully they get added as DLC sooner rather than later. Inevitably, there are people who will be disappointed, or your favorite character will be missing. It just is what it is. So, you know, I'm already starting to see more and more criticism of the roster. We talked about Black Panther, which I might have a follow-up video coming soon, talking about that and like kind of readdressing the stuff. Maybe it's worth addressing, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But there was a lot of controversy with the whole Shuri thing. But regardless, that's not what we're here for today. Today, we're here to talk about the new characters that we don't know about yet, but we might have just learned about. So, there is a Twitter account called Marvel Tokon News, which is not the official Twitter account for the Marvel Tokon Souls fighting game, but they have been pretty reliable and trustworthy when it just comes to like news and information updates and everything like that. And they dropped this tweet that reads, "Marvel launches Marvel Tokon First Strike #1 comic and variants for new fighting game." So again, I'm not a huge comic book guy. I'm not that tapped in, but it seems that Marvel's dropping a lot of variant covers kind of like in collaboration with the fighting game, which is really, really dope. And here you can see this Marvel Tokon First Strike one that has Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, then Storm, as well as I've already forgotten Shorty's name right here, but we've seen her multiple times now in the trailers and the reveals and everything. She's working alongside Champion as the announcer. Her name might have actually just been announcer. I forget exactly. If we take a look at the article that they have linked, you guys can see that we have this right here. Marvel launches Marvel Tokon. Whoops, let me just zoom in a little bit more. Marvel launches Marvel Tokon First Strike #1 comic and variants for new fighting game. The upcoming PS5 and PC fighter expands into comics with a new anthology one-shot and a wave of variant covers celebrating Marvel's latest gaming universe. Can I zoom in a little bit more and get this centered? That would be nice. There we go. PlayStation Studios, Arc System Works, and Marvel Fighting Games are teaming up for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a new tag team fighting game arriving August 6th. Can't wait. The game throws players into a reimagined Marvel universe featuring redesigned heroes, new stages, fast-paced combat, striking visuals, and a soundtrack that matches the action. To coincide with the game's launch, Marvel Comics is releasing Marvel Tokon First Strike #1, a special anthology one-shot written by Steve Orlando, Tom Waltz, and Josh Trujillo, with art by Bruno Bull, Attila Fabio, and Ryusei Yamada. The comic spotlights the game's featured factions, the Fighting Avengers and the Unbreakable X-Men, while expanding the mythology behind the game's world. Readers will also get more insight into the game's villains, the Promoter, that's her name, the Promoter, and Champion, alongside original stories set within the Tokon universe. Marvel Tokon First Strike will feature covers by Juan Freire and Ryan Stegman, with an additional variant cover by Michelle Bandini, still to be revealed. And so here's that cover again. Very nice illustration. And then here is a cover featuring Wolverine. Marvel is also celebrating the release with 20 Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls variant covers rolling out across select Marvel titles beginning in August. Fans can expect artwork highlighting the game's updated character designs and visual style, and these variant covers are where we're getting these hints of who these final 6 remaining characters are likely to be. And some of them are pretty straightforward, but you can see obviously they're featuring, you know, a cover for every character in the game. So Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Captain America, Doom, Miss Marvel, Iron Man, Ghost Rider, Danger, Wolverine. Whoa, why did I forget Magic's name for a second? I almost blue screen there for a second. and Storm. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls launches August 6th. And yeah, then here we have a list of all these different comics and these variants and when they're going on sale. And that leads us to who these final 6 remaining characters could be. Now, one thing to keep in mind before we start looking at these variant covers, or not the covers themselves, because we haven't seen them, but these titles and what the hints are, let's keep this in mind. This is an article that came out on Famitsu a couple of months ago, whatever, with some insight and some information from the dev team and maybe the producer and whatnot. Hints about the remaining characters. Incidentally, although 6 characters have not yet been announced, it was revealed that Doctor Doom and Ghost Rider will each serve as team leaders, which we already knew. A few hints about the remaining 6 characters were also given along with the team concepts. Doctor Doom is a villain, so he will likely be on a villain's team. Ghost Rider is an anti-hero, so he will be on an outlaw team. The other 3 members also seem to be quite eccentric characters. And that's the last hint that we got about who these other characters could be. Now, if we move on, we have this tweet right here from, again, the Tokon Fighters Twitter. Speculation. Using the revealed Marvel Tokon variant covers, we can theorize the remaining characters on the starting roster. Penny Parker, Hulk, and Black Panther's variant covers can be assumed as the Spider-Man, Hulk, and Avenger comics. 6 more remain. with those 6 shaping up, looking like we have Wade Wilson, Deadpool, Mark Spector, Moon Knight, and then X-Men 38. So it's looking like obviously Robbie Reyes, aka Ghost Rider, will be leading this team, which we speculate about it being like the Midnight Suns. It's going to be some sort of like dark hero, anti-hero kind of team, right? So it's looking like this team is going to end up being Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, Deadpool, although Deadpool seems like super straightforward and obvious, and maybe it just is that simple, but they also might be following this trend or this pattern of trying to have one girl per team. So it could actually be Gwenpool instead. That could be the curveball that we throw here, because you know, they've kind of thrown a curveball with every team, right? With Black Panther being Shuri instead of T'Challa, with Penny Parker, you know, being on the team because no one saw that one coming, right? Danger being on the X-Men. They throw this curveball on every single team, so maybe the curveball on this one is that it actually being Gwenpool instead of Deadpool. Moon Knight could just straight up be Moon Knight. People are speculating about Blade being the character on this team as well, and that would make sense with the whole Midnight Suns thing. But for the X-Men slot, I feel like it could also be like Scarlet Witch. I feel like that would make sense. Scarlet Witch is a character who was originally unveiled in the Uncanny X-Men, or like I guess it's just called X-Men now, but it used to be Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, so I just feel like that makes sense. Regardless though, there's multiple different ways they could go about this. So it could be Deadpool or Gwenpool. It seems very likely it's obviously going to be one of those two. Moon Knight seems like it's straight up going to be Moon Knight, and then for that final spot, is it Blade? Is it Scarlet Witch? I had some people in my chat tell me that maybe it could be like Clea or something. I don't actually even know who that is. Do they have anything at all to do with the X-Men? I honestly do not know who that character even is. Clea is Doctor Strange's ex-wife. Gotcha. Like I said, not a comic expert, so I'm going off information that I see online and what people tell me. But yeah, that's pretty much, if you were to ask me what I think this team is going to be, I think it's going to be Ghost. Well, see, the thing is, if we go with my initial line of thinking, there actually isn't like a curveball, because like none of them are really like a curveball. So we'll say this, we gonna go, and it could be 2 girls, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to only be one. So I'm gonna go Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, Gwenpool, and Scarlet Witch. I'm gonna say it's 2 girls. Why not? Why not? But it could just be Deadpool. I'm fine with either one. I think either one would be really cool. Then we get to Doctor Doom's team. We see X-Men United number 6. We see Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day, and we see the Mortal Thor number 15. So in the previous trailer for Hulk and Black Panther, we got some hints, a little bit of a teaser of who the next character could be that we see, and all signs led to it being Carnage, you know what I'm saying? And now we have even further evidence of that with one of the comics in this lineup being Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know if Carnage has any relevance there, but with it just being a Spider-Man comic just immediately without even knowing anything, it just feels like that lines up. So this team's probably going to be Doctor Doom. It's probably going to be Carnage. And then Magneto. It's going to be a villains team. Let's talk about X-Men. I just feel like that's a no-brainer. Magneto, obviously incredibly popular. Carnage himself is probably, is that even a curveball? I don't even think that's a curveball pick. The other thing as well to keep in mind with all this is something that we've stressed before and that they stress is that they want weird and different characters that haven't been in games before. But even with that being said, like it's Magneto. I mean, like, come on. I just feel like that'd be like a major fumble. You know what I'm saying? And then for this final character, the Mortal Thor. So it's obviously not going to be Thor himself, right? So maybe it's Loki. However, again, if you're keeping in mind the idea that there's going to be at least 1 girl per team, and I don't really know if that's part of their agenda. I say agenda, that word has such a negative connotation to it, but you know what I mean? Just part of like their philosophy or their goals to have 1 girl per team. I don't know if that actually is the case or not. It just seems to be, but it could be coincidence. But if it's going to be a girl instead of Loki, it could be Hela or female Loki. You know, apparently that's a thing, but I feel like Hela can make a lot of sense as well. So it could go either way with that. I've also seen people saying that like Red Goblin could also be the one for Spider-Man. It doesn't necessarily have to be Carnage, but just from everything that I've seen based on like people's speculation, people who know way more about comics than myself, it seems more likely to be Carnage. I don't really have a dog in the fight one way or the other. I don't have a preference because I'm not familiar with either of the characters, but it seems to me that this team is going to end up being Doctor Doom, Magneto, Carnage, and then probably Loki or Hela. And I would say Hela, just going with the idea that it's going to be a girl on the team. So that's that. Those are the final 6 remaining characters. As of the recording of this video, today is Friday, which means Combo Breaker is happening this weekend, right? We don't have confirmation about whether or not we'll be getting a reveal, at least as far as I'm aware. I don't know if we have any confirmation that we'll be getting any reveals from Marvel Tokon here at Combo Breaker. We've got other big events coming up as well, such as Summer Game Fest. There is a PlayStation Direct coming up. There is Evo coming up. So there's several places where Tokon news could be happening. I don't think we We don't know for sure whether or not we're getting anything this weekend, but if we do, you can expect to see me back on the channel in a day or two talking about it. Am I going to upload this video today or tomorrow? I don't know. You might be seeing this on a Saturday. I'm not entirely certain. You might be seeing this on Saturday or Sunday. Well, I guess just in case there is a reveal, I should post this on Saturday, huh? So that way, if something gets shown on Sunday, then I can talk about it the next day, right? So we don't know if it is going to be getting shown for Marvel Tokon at Comic Breaker, but if it does, I'll be back. And if it's not, then maybe it'll be at one of these upcoming events like a Summer Game Fest or the Direct, or not Direct, the State of Play. There's a State of Play coming up. And if nothing else, we'll probably see something at EVO. But by then, we should have everything finally revealed because EVO is June, it's the end of June, right? Like June 26th, don't quote me on that, somewhere around then. The game comes out on August, or in August, on the 6th. So we'll know every character in the game by then. I'm also going to throw in, as an added bonus, this game might do the whole secret unlockable thing, which probably won't even be that big of a secret and will be predictable by a lot of people. The champion is very clearly the villain or the main antagonist for this game. It'd be weird to me if he was in the game and not playable. I'm going to go ahead and say he's going to be a secret unlock character that you get for beating the game, and he'll be the secret 21st character that you can probably unlock and play as, which would be just another one of their like oddball picks for someone who hasn't been previously playable in a fighting game. That and kind of similar to like Android 21 and Dragon Ball FighterZ, for example. That would be my expectation, my prediction on that. I guess time will tell. And that would officially bring the roster up to 21 characters, which is a bit of a weird number, but still too low, man. It's still too low. Like, even myself, as someone who has like the expectations, and you know, I like already try to like get myself to accept it. It just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that being said, with the final characters being hinted at, is there anyone that I'm excited for or looking forward to that I think I could see myself playing in this game? So Black Panther and Wolverine seem like two that I'm most likely going to have on my team, and that I'll probably be the first two characters that I explore in this game so far based on everything that we have. Of the final like 6 characters that we're speculating about, Moon Knight seems like somebody I would like to try out. Moon Knight just seems like a really cool character that seems somewhat up my alley. Scarlet Witch, if she's on the team, probably not going to be my cup of tea. Deadpool or Gwenpool, I could definitely see myself trying to use one of those characters for sure, assuming that's going to be one of those. And then if it's someone else like Blade is also a character that I very much would be interested in trying out. So this team has potential for several different Lotus picks. As far as the villains team, Magneto, I definitely would give him a shot. Magneto's a pretty cool character. Carnage and or Red Goblin, neither one of those are ones that I could really see myself being too interested in. And then Loki and Hela, I really don't know a whole lot about them at all, obviously. So I really don't know. Like, I guess it would just depend on like their moveset and also just their design. I guess I could see either of those characters looking really cool. That's another thing I'm looking forward to. Just like the redesigns, the designs that a lot of these characters have are super sick. Like, I think Black Panther looks incredible. Storm is obviously gorgeous. Ghost Rider looks cool. The Spider-Man suit looks really cool. Just like every character's design in this game so far looks really dope. And Champion, by the way, is a character who I think traditionally looks pretty fucking ugly. And he obviously, from the silhouettes that we've seen and like the teasers we've gotten of him in the reveal and the trailers and the story so far, he looks like he's got a pretty different redesign. So I'm interested to see what he looks like, because he's clearly going to be different from what we normally see him as in traditional like media and like the comics and stuff. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your predictions? What are your speculation? What do you think based off all of these hints? If you want links to any of this stuff, it'll probably be in the description down below, so you can go look at it a bit more in depth for yourself. Matter of fact, before we get out of here, what are the quotes saying? My top 3 most wanted are Daredevil, Moon Knight, and Psylocke. Well, Psylocke not gonna be there base roster. Totally final prediction, we got Ghost Rider, Gwenpool, Moon Knight, or Scarlet Witch, with Doctor Doom, Magneto, Carnage, and Loki. So basically what we were saying. Rider, Blade, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Carnage. I saw the teaser, but I would like Mr. Negative. I don't even know who Mr. Negative is. And then Loki. It'll be hilarious if we get an Asgardian, but it's not Thor. That would be kind of funny, but I'm sure Thor has some diehard fans out there who would be disappointed, but it is what it is. This guy made a whole little thing. So Deadpool, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, with Magneto, Carnage, and I guess that's Hela. I don't know. I've never seen Hela look like that, but I don't know a whole lot about Hela. Or is that, I don't know, is that female look? Yeah, I couldn't tell you, again, not a comic expert. But it seems like we're pretty, I don't want to say necessarily on point, because we don't know if we're right or wrong, but in line with most people's thinking right now. So Deadpool, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Green Goblin, Loki. Green Goblin would also be really cool. I don't think it's going to be Green Goblin though, but I wouldn't be mad at that. Enchantress, maybe. Could be Enchantress. Who knows? I guess time will tell. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's going to be enough for today's video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all awesome content I put on bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have today. And remember, let the capital swing the bat. Later.